Hi everyone, my name is Donnie Lowy from WholesaleUSADresses.com. The next time you're in New York, you are welcome to visit my warehouse. Today I'd like to give you an auction tip, and that auction tip is to be very familiar with the type of merchandise that you are looking at an auction. When you go to an auction, there's going to be a lot of different type of merchandise out there, and some of the merchandise you're going to be familiar with, some you're not going to be familiar with. It's very important to take your time, look at the merchandise, become familiar with it, and here's the reason why. On one side, you might see merchandise that is not suitable for you, but you'll only know that if you're familiar with what the merchandise is. On the other side, you might see merchandise that you're not familiar with, but once you do become familiar with it, you'll realize that the merchandise is suitable for you. So let me give you an example. Let's say you sell dresses in your store. You go to an auction for a dress boutique that is going out of business, and they have a selection of dresses. And then you look at the dresses, and you say, you know what, I'm really not familiar with these dresses. I don't think I could sell them. But you take your time, you go online, you call some of your customers, you do your research, and you realize, oh no, these are really elegant party dresses, and they're based on a new style that's really catching on. So once you became familiar with those dresses, then you were able to realize that those dresses were a really good fit for your store. But let's say you saw dresses that looked really nice. They're beautiful dresses. You're like, wow, you know what? I could do so well with these dresses. But once you actually did your research, you became familiar with the dresses, then you realized that the waist was, cut really tight, and it's just too tight for your customers. Or the color is just not a color, even though you like it, it's not a color that your customers like. Or altogether, you might have a different situation. You could go to an auction, see merchandise that looks really nice, and you think you could sell it, but then you find out that the style is really outdated. Or you see merchandise which you would never consider buying, but then you find out that's a product that's really popular now, and everyone wants to buy that product, so you decide to go ahead and buy that product. So it's very important you go to an auction, look at the merchandise that's there, do your research, call customers, speak to someone that might work with you, someone who's familiar with your customers, call your customers, and discuss what kind of merchandise you're seeing, and you might come up with some really good ideas. You might decide to buy something, you might decide not to buy it, but you always want to make informed decisions. You make informed decisions by doing your research, and the best way to do your research is find out ahead of time what's going to be auctioned off at the auction, so you could start doing your research online. You can start calling customers, and when you get to the auction, you're going to be fully prepared. Alright, my website is WholesaleUSADresses.com. The next time you're in New York, you're welcome to visit my warehouse.